All right, welcome. Today, we're going to dive into a really unique way of looking at self-understanding. It's an idea that gets right to the heart of things, and it all kicks off with these simple, but let's be honest, huge questions that I think every single one of us has asked at some point.
You know this one, right? Why do I feel this way? It's so fundamental. It's that question that just pops into your head, maybe when you're lying awake at night or just in a quiet moment of frustration. It just sits there, right, at the center of everything. And that feeling, it almost always leads to this question. Why do I overthink everything? You know, you get caught in that mental hamster wheel, the analysis paralysis where you can't make a decision. Or you just replay conversations over and over and over in your head. It's that feeling of being completely stuck and you just can't turn the noise off.
And oh man, this might be the most frustrating one of all. Why do I keep repeating the same patterns? You see yourself doing it, falling into the same old habits, getting into the same kinds of relationship arguments, having the same knee-jerk reactions. It's like you're trapped in a loop and you just can't figure out how to get off the ride. So if any of those questions, or maybe all of them, sound familiar, I want you to know two things. First, you are definitely not alone. And second, you are absolutely in the right place. Because the whole idea we're digging into today is built to tackle these questions head-on and give you a real practical path forward. What's so interesting about this approach is how it's defined by what it's not. It actively avoids all the complicated, jargon-filled theories. And it totally steers clear of that, fake, rah-rah motivation that doesn't really help. Instead, the focus is 100% on what works. Simple, practical tools, and just real talk. No fluff. So this isn't just random advice. It's a kind of roadmap for understanding yourself. And here's where you start to see how it all fits together. We'll look at things like self-awareness and those emotional defense mechanisms we all have. We'll explore our mental habits and see how they play out in our relationships. And we'll go deeper, too, looking at stuff like anxiety, burnout, setting personal boundaries, and even how our childhood experiences are still echoing in our lives today. But listen, this isn't just about listing off a bunch of psychological concepts. It's not a textbook reading. What really makes this whole thing different is how we explore these topics. It's about getting past the theory and right to the heart of what it means to be human. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? Because they're not just theory, they're real lives, real emotions, real recovery. Think about it. It's one thing to read a definition of people-pleasing. It's something else entirely to connect with the story of a real person who realizes their fear of saying no started way back in childhood, just trying to keep the peace. See? That's when a concept stops being a theory and becomes real life, real emotion, and that's where real recovery begins. Now, to make sure that we keep the focus on that realness, on that clarity, the format here is also intentionally different. The whole goal is to make the message land as clearly as possible. Let me show you what I mean. First things first, you're not going to see a face here. And there's a really simple reason for that. By taking the host out of the picture, the focus immediately shifts away from a personality and puts it right where it belongs, on the message itself. Instead, all you'll hear is a voice. The idea is to create a more direct, kind of personal connection with the ideas themselves. It gets rid of the visual distraction of a speaker and lets you just sink into the journey. And you'll see simple visual symbols. These aren't just random graphics. They're designed to be a kind of visual anchor, representing the core of an idea to help it really land and hopefully stick with you. And all of this really gets to the core philosophy of why it's done this way. When you're trying to explore something as personal and complex as your own mind, distractions just get in the way, right? So by stripping all that away, the message has a chance to be much, much clearer. It creates a kind of quiet, focused space for these ideas to actually be heard. Okay, so with that super focused approach, where do we even begin? Where does the real path to change start? Well, the entire journey, whether you're dealing with anxiety or bad habits or just wanting to heal, it all boils down to one single powerful first step. Not some complicated 10-point plan, just one word: awareness. And really, this is the most important takeaway. Think about it.
You literally cannot change what you aren't aware of. It's impossible. Before you can try any strategy or use any technique or start to heal, you have to just see it first. See the pattern. Acknowledge the feeling. Notice the habit. Awareness, that's the key that unlocks the door to everything else.
And that really brings us to the end here. And it leaves us with a question for you. When you look at your own life, your own mind, your own patterns, what's the one thing, the very first thing you'd like to just shine a light on? The first thing you want to become more aware of? Whatever it is, that's where the journey begins.